All right, listeners, are you ready for this? We're diving headfirst into Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Got those notes handy? Awesome. Today, we're tackling Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. And you know Greene, he can be a little intense, maybe even a bit ruthless. But trust me, there's gold in these laws, pure wisdom if we know where to dig.
Couldn't agree more. And it's funny, right? We think safety means walls shutting everyone out. But this law says, no, that makes you more vulnerable. It's a real head scratcher at first.
You got that right. Isolation making you more vulnerable. How does that even work? Seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It does. Think of it like this. Isolate yourself and boom, you're cut off. No information, no intel, who's doing what, where's the next big thing, you're in the dark. Like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces, you're bound to trick up. Big time.
So wait, it's not just being alone in a room, it's about being out of the loop, disconnected from what's happening.
Exactly. And that, my friend, is a recipe for disaster. Because while you're off the grid, your rivals, they're not. Out of sight, out of mind. They're thinking, hey, easy target. They start making moves, underestimating you, and you're none the wiser. Bam, you're vulnerable.
Okay, that's kind of scary, especially now when things move so fast. If you're not paying attention, you might as well not exist.
Bingo. And that's Green's point. Stay connected, be in the mix, know what's up. Power isn't about hiding. It's about watching, learning, and seeing those threats coming. No paranoia, just smart thinking.
Got it. So no fortresses, we're building networks. Like a spider in a web, always feeling those vibrations, ready to pounce.
Ray getting it. Spider's right there, in the center, not in some corner. Every ripple, every change, it's ready.
And speaking of big things, ever heard of the Great Wall of China? Talk about isolation backfiring.
Oh yeah, textbook example of build a wall, feel safe. But I'm sensing there's a twist coming. There is. The wall, it did work at first, kept those nomads out. But here's the thing. China got so focused on not letting anyone in, they miss out. Trade, diplomacy, all those connections, gone. They built a wall, all right? A wall between themselves and the world.
So they were safe, but also stuck. No progress, just staying the same while the world moved on.
Exactly. They missed out big time. Ships, weapons, even farming techniques, they fell behind.
Yeah.
It's ironic, right? The wall that was supposed to protect them ended up being a weakness.
Incredible. This massive structure, a symbol of strength, actually helped lead to their downfall. That's deep. Makes you think about the hidden costs of shutting everyone out.
Now let's fix the script. Let's talk about a ruler who knew better. Someone who knew the power of connection. Louis XIV, the Sun King of France. Fancy parties and all that jazz.
Louis XIV, the king of bling and absolute power. Wasn't he the ultimate party animal?
He was. But those parties, they weren't just about fun and games. They were carefully planned events, ways to gather information, keep the nobles in check. Louis, he understood. To rule, you got to be in the thick of it, not hiding away in some castle.
So instead of walls, he built a stage, a grand theater to watch and control everyone. Clever.
Exactly. Versailles, his palace, it was the place to be in France. By having everyone there, the nobles, the influencers, he kept them close. He could see their ambitions, their alliances, even their gossip, always informed, always one step ahead. That's how he stayed in power for an incredible 72 years.
72 years, that's insane. His strategy worked big time, staying connected, engaged. It really paid off.
It did. Louis XIV knew. Information equals power. And to stay in power, you got to be plugged in, watching, adapting, playing the game.
Okay, so we have the Great Wall, isolation leading to decline. Then Louis XIV, a master networker who used connection to his advantage. Two different paths, two very different outcomes. It seems like this law isn't just about physical isolation, it's about staying connected to the flow of things, the key players, the pulse of the world.
You nailed it. Now, here's the million-dollar question. How do we use this today in our lives?
Yeah.
Most of us aren't building walls or ruling empires, but we still face that temptation to isolate ourselves. And sometimes it can be dangerous. Let's say you get your dream job right. Exciting stuff. Cutting-edge tech company. You're all in. You're coding like crazy, headphones on, in your own world. You're nailing it, deadlines met, but you're missing something big. Connections.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. You're so good at what you do, you forget to, well, play the game a little.
Exactly. You're a coding rock star, sure, but have you talked to anyone? Your teammates, your boss, people in other departments? If not, you're basically a ghost. Information, alliances, chances to shine, all gone.
So being good isn't enough. You got to be seen, be connected if you want to climb that ladder.
100%. Every chat, every meeting, even small talk, it's a chance to build your network. Gather those insights, show your worth. But hey, We're not talking about gossip or being a fake.
Right. It's genuine, mutually beneficial stuff, build each other up, that sort of thing.
Now, let's talk about personal life, because this law applies there too, big time.
This is what I find fascinating. Bad stuff happens, heartbreaks, setbacks, you name it. We want to hide away, right? But you're saying that's the worst thing to do.
Think about it. You're down, discouraged, lost. Stay away from everyone. That's the instinct. But what you really need is the opposite. People, support, fresh perspectives.
Like that saying, shared problem, half the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes just talking it out makes a world of difference.
For real. Isolating yourself just makes things worse. All those doubts and fears just grow in the dark. But reach out, talk to people, and boom, you're not alone. You get insights, a shoulder to cry on. It changes everything.
So, connection equals resilience. It helps you bounce back, see things more clearly. Makes sense.
Now let's go bigger picture. Business. Law 18 applies to companies too,
Oh yeah, business is tough, competition everywhere, everyone wants to be on top. So how does isolation hurt them?
Imagine this. Company A, all about protecting their turf. Their secrets, their processes, they shut everyone out. No customer feedback, no new trends, no collaborations. What happens?
Sounds like a slow death. They become dinosaurs, lose customers, get overtaken by companies who adapt.
Exactly. They built a fortress and it became a tomb. No fresh ideas, no innovation, they're stuck. In today's world, you got to move or you're gone.
So it's not about avoiding the competition. It's about playing smart, learning from them, even teaming up sometimes.
You got it. Apple and Samsung, rivals in the phone game, right? But they also need each other for parts, tech stuff. It's a dance, a balance of competition and cooperation. Even in a tough industry, connection is key.
This is blowing my mind. But wait, can you be too connected? Lose yourself in the information overload, all those opinions?
Excellent question. And Green addresses that. He's not saying be everywhere, know everything. It's about being strategic, remember?
So not every opportunity, not every event, not every person. Choose wisely, right?
Right. Who you connect with, what you read, where you spend your time, it all matters.
Mhm.
Build a network that helps you, challenges you, gives you the right intel without getting lost in the noise.
Finding that balance, not too isolated, not too overwhelmed, that's the sweet spot. Now, you mentioned history. Any examples of leaders who were too isolated?
Oh yeah, a classic case. Tsar Nicholas II of Russia, a tragic example of isolation leading to disaster. He lost everything, his power, even his dynasty.
Okay, now you're talking. History lessons are so much better with drama and intrigue. So what went wrong with Nicholas?
Imagine this. You're the Tsar, right? Top dog, living in palaces, everyone bowing down to you. But under the surface, there's a problem, a big disconnect.
Okay, I'm hooked. What was he missing?
He was completely out of touch with his people,
Ugh.
stuck in his palaces, no clue what was happening in the streets. The unrest, the poverty, he was blind to it all.
He built a bubble, surrounded himself with yes men, while everything outside was falling apart.
Exactly. And it cost him everything. He didn't see the anger brewing, the people suffering. He didn't adapt, didn't listen, and boom, revolution, the Romanov dynasty, gone.
Wow, a powerful reminder that even the most powerful people can fall if they lose touch. It's like they build a wall so high they can't see the ground crumbling beneath them.
You got it. Nicholas's story is a warning to anyone in charge. CEOs, politicians, even parents. Stay connected, listen, adapt, or face the consequences.
So we've got the Great Wall, a monument to defensive isolation gone wrong. Louis XIV, the master networker who used connection to rule for decades. And then Tsar Nicholas II, the tragic case of isolation leading to a downfall. I'm starting to see this law everywhere now.
It is everywhere. It makes us rethink what safety and power really mean. We think hiding, protecting ourselves is the answer. But Green says, no, true power is in connecting, engaging, stepping out of that comfort zone, and facing the world.
It's a paradox, isn't it? To be powerful, you got to be a little vulnerable, open to the world, even if it hurts sometimes.
That's the challenge, right? It's easy to hide. Surround yourself with people who agree with you. Avoid anything challenging. But that's not how we grow, how we innovate, how we gain real power.
This is so eye-opening. I'm starting to see my own little fortress tendencies now.
We all have them. The trick is to recognize them. Challenge ourselves to reach out, build bridges instead of walls.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we break out of those habits and become more connected?
That's a great question. And it's one we'll explore more as we continue our deep dive into Law 18.
Okay, so we know isolation is bad news, especially if you're trying to, be powerful and all that. But just knowing isn't enough. How do we actually use this Law 18 stuff, like in real life?
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost in the chaos, right?
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk for sure. Too much connection, you get overwhelmed. Too little, you're back in that fortress. It's all about finding the right balance, being smart about who you connect with, not just connecting for the sake of it.
Right, quality over quantity. Sounds good, but what does that look like day to day? Give us some tips, some actionable steps.
First things first. What are you reading? What are you watching? Are you getting news from different places, different viewpoints? Or are you stuck in an echo chamber? Are you challenging your own beliefs?
That's a good one. It's so easy to just see what you already agree with, especially online.
That's the danger. You think you're informed, but you're just seeing one tiny slice of the pie. If you want to be truly knowledgeable, you got to break out of that bubble. See all sides of the story.
Okay, so step one, diversify your information diet. Got it. What's next?
Step 2. Network smarter, not harder. Connect with people who inspire you, who make you think differently, who can open doors for you. Mentors, colleagues, friends, even people you admire from afar.
So, not just collecting business cards at random events. Be intentional, know why you're connecting with someone.
That's it. And remember, networking is a two-way street. It's not just about what they can do for you. What can you offer? Your time, your skills, your support. Be generous, and good things will come back to you.
Right, like any relationship, gotta give and take. Now, what about social media? Can that be used for good, connection-wise?
Definitely. Social media can be amazing for building your network, showing off what you know, finding your tribe, but you got to use it wisely. Don't get lost in the negativity, the drama. It's a tool, not a trap.
So, be mindful of what you post, engage with people who add value to your life, and, you know, log off when you need a break.
Exactly. Taking breaks is crucial. Recharge, reflect, get away from the noise. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your network is to disconnect for a bit.
True, true. Sometimes you gotta get back to basics, reconnect with yourself first. Now, beyond the online world, what else can we do?
So many things. Join clubs, go to events, volunteer for causes you care about. It's all about meeting people, learning new stuff, expanding your world.
Get out there, explore. Right. It's amazing how many opportunities we miss when we're stuck in our routines, glued to our phones.
Right. And it doesn't have to be some big grand gesture. A chat with a stranger, helping a coworker, even just being kind. It all creates connections, ripples that spread further than you think.
Okay, so we've got our action plan.
Yeah.
Watch what you consume, network strategically, use social media wisely, get out in the real world, and just be open to those random moments of connection. Sounds like a lot, but it's worth it if we want to break free from that isolation trap.
It is. And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Building a solid network takes time, effort. Be patient, be persistent, and don't be afraid to take the first step.
This has been amazing. My mind is blown. I'm already thinking about how I can apply all this to my own life.
That's what we like to hear. And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired too.
So one last question for you. What's the best advice you can give someone who's feeling isolated, stuck in that fortress mentality? What's the first step?
Start small.
Yeah.
You don't have to change everything overnight. Pick one area where you feel most isolated.
Yeah.
Work, personal life, whatever. And make one small change. Just one.
Love that. Baby steps and celebrate each win along the way.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone in this. We all crave connection. We all have the power to create it. It's out there, waiting for us.
Well said. And that's a wrap for our dip dive into Law 18 of the 48 Laws of Power. Hope you all learned something valuable, something you can use to build a more connected and empowered life.
Keep learning, keep connecting, keep thriving, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
And remember, knowledge is power, but connection. Connection unlocks that power, takes it to a whole new level.